Is the presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, great to have you on the program. Thanks so much for spending the time.
Good morning.
What do you want to communicate today about Hillary Clinton? Can you give us a sense of what your speech will be in a couple of hours?
Well, basically how bad she is. I mean, she's done a terrible job. She's a known liar. You look at what she's said about email servers and her landings under fire. If you remember the famous landing under fire, and the under fire was young girls handing her flowers. I mean, she made it up. Frankly, Brian Williams resigned in disgrace for a lot less than that. And, she lies. She's a terrible liar, and she'd be a terrible president. It would be more of Barack Obama, probably worse, and she'd be a terrible president.
Look, we know that the Clinton Foundation now has been hacked by Russian hackers. Are you going to be looking at the foundation and potential conflicts there? You know, Guy Benson, who's a Republican strategist, just basically said to us, I want to hear real specifics in terms of what Hillary Clinton did. Will that be included in the speech?
Well, it will be. A little bit of that will be, but we're going to actually do something on the foundation later. A lot of things are coming to us about the foundation. When did this hacking take place, Maria?
Well, we're just getting news this morning that this is Guccifer 2.0, that the foundation has been hacked, along with the hacking that we know of, into the DNC files, where they found all of this, talk about you in the Democratic National Committee files. So this is a second breach, apparently.
Well, the foundation is really a disgusting situation. So many things were done for obvious reasons. If you look at countries that had problems and all of a sudden they don't have problems, and then you see large payments and large amounts of cash going into the foundation or being paid for speeches, and you look at these things, it's, frankly, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Plus, they live like kings and queens in the foundation. They travel first class. I see, the way their transportation needs are very good. Look, the whole thing is a con, and frankly, the foundation's being looked at. The book Cash, if you looked at the book that he really wrote amazingly well, Schweitzer, it documents it pretty well. The mainstream media doesn't pick it up very well. They don't want to pick it up. They're defending her, and it's an incredible thing. I guess one of your competitors last night had a story that if I do something and she does something where they're both a little bit off, I get many, many times more negative publicity in the mainstream media than she does. I mean, they totally protect her. And frankly, if it's a Republican conservative, I've heard this for years, they are brutal. And certainly that's been happening in my case. And yet I'm virtually even in the polls, and I haven't spent any money, and she's spending a fortune. So that's a good sign.
Well, we've had Peter Schweitzer on, and you're right. He definitely did connect a lot of dots in terms of the foundation. Don, let me ask you about this assassination attempt, which was actually quite scary. A 19-year-old man from the UK. He overstayed his visa. He was arrested at your Las Vegas rally on Saturday. He said in court this week that he planned to kill you. When did you first learn about this?
Actually, I learned about it watching television. They didn't tell me about it, and probably they're better off not telling me about it. But I learned about it watching television, and I can tell you this. We have tremendous Secret Service, and we have tremendous police throughout this country, and I think they did a fantastic job. The policeman whose gun was tried to be, stolen by this maniac was really fantastic. And so the police have done a great job, and Secret Service, these people are great. They don't get the kind of credit they deserve. I deal with them all the time. I see them. I watch them. I know them, and they're terrific, terrific people.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to steal one of the cops' guns to take it out on you.
Yeah.
But he overstayed the visa is really what I'm getting at, right? I mean, he was supposed to come to this country for 90 days, overstayed it, and was able to stay here.
Well, that's what's happening. I mean, look, we have no law, we have no order when it comes to many things. I mean, we're just talking about immigration. I brought up the word illegal immigration, and overstaying visas is a whole part of it. And you have probably millions of people overstaying visas. You have so many people, we have no idea who's in our country. You're going to have a very rude awakening one day in this country. We have no idea who's in our country. I mean, you look at the people, this could be one of the great Trojan horses of all time. This could be the ultimate Trojan horse. They'll replace the name Trojan horse with something else having to do with what's going on in our country. We have people coming in. We don't know who they are. We know nothing about them. We don't know where they come from. They're coming out of the Middle East, and I'll tell you what, you saw what one whack job can do last weekend. It was, like, terrible in Orlando, and that's one person. And we have thousands and thousands. We have millions of people coming in that aren't vetted properly, et cetera. So we better be careful. Our country is in very, very serious shape in so many ways, including from your standpoint, because you do a fantastic job in the world of finance. I mean, you look at our debt, $19 trillion, quickly going to $21 trillion, and all of our other problems. We better get our act together quickly.
So is immigration going to be your first priority should you win the White House?
No, but it's going to be one of my priorities. I have many priorities, but one of them is to also get our depleted military back into shape. We have a military that's totally depleted, and even the current people in there are saying that. And we're depleted in every way. Our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our schools.
Right.
I mean, we have to rebuild our country. You go to some of these countries, you go to the Middle East, other parts of the Middle East, obviously, but you go and look at some of the things they've built, the roadways, the highways, the airports, the schools.
Oh, for sure.
It's incredible. We come home and we land at LaGuardia with the potholes.
Right.
And it's incredible.
And then you've got your economic plan. A lot of people talking about your 15% corporate tax rate, which should be a positive for the economy. Let me turn though to the money end of it. There's been a lot of talk, Mr. Trump, about the changes you've made in the campaign. Corey Lewandowski out, tough couple of weeks after the comments about the judge in Indiana, money issues. Has there been a new pivot? Has there been a change in direction in your campaign?
The only tough part about the campaign is the fact that the press, no matter what you do, I mean, I've had things where we did great work on certain things, and we always get criticized by the press, no matter what. I mean, it makes no difference. I've had stories where I said, oh, good, look forward to picking them up, right? And you pick it up, you say, wow, look at the way they covered. Look at this angle. That's a strange angle. And the press is so negative. And I say that to people because, obviously, my poll numbers are practically even with hers, and I guess in the most important states from the standpoint of what we're talking about, Ohio, Pennsylvania, et cetera, and we're doing great in Florida, too. We're even. And in one case, I guess we're leading. So, you know, she's spending tremendous amounts of money. She's going to raise $1.2 billion. And, you know, the same thing happened to me in the primaries. They were all spending 2, 3, 4 times as much money as me, and I won in landslides. So we'll see what happens.
What are you going to do now in terms of the money, though? I mean, you sent your first fundraising email yesterday vowing to match donations dollar for dollar for the next 48 hours.
And it did great. Wait till the results.
You've got $1 million. She's got $40 million. So how are you going to accelerate the money?
Well, I have a lot more than $40 million if I want to use my own money, and I have used my own money. You know, I spent essentially $55 million on the primaries, and I may very well, you know, just fund my own campaign. I'm taking a very serious look at it because it's so much easier. As an example, right now I'm going to a big fundraiser. I look forward to it. But I'm meeting great people. I mean, part of the thing I do like about the fundraisers, I meet tremendous people that are so committed to this campaign, and they don't want Hillary, and they're so committed to the campaign that I almost think that's more important than the fundraising itself. I've met so many great people, high level and mid-level and low level and every level. I mean, I have met so many incredible people that are so committed, and that's the thing I like best about the fundraising. Now, with that said, we had a fantastic weekend, which wasn't reported yet, because, as you know, we had reported a very small part of the fundraising. That was when it started. I think it included essentially one day or, you know, a very short period of time. But I think our next numbers are going to be quite good. But more importantly, I don't want to raise, you know, billions of dollars. There's no reason for it. The people that make all that money are the consultants, Maria. You see what these consultants are making, and take a look at what Hillary Clinton is paying everybody to write her little speeches about me, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I don't want that kind of money spent. I think it's a waste of money, and I think it's a shame, frankly. So I can do it for much, much less, and I think win.
And you have already. Before you go, Mr. Trump, let me just get your take on what's going on in Britain right now, this whole movement for the UK to leave the EU. What do you think Britain should be doing?
Well, I'm going to be over there during the storm because I'm going over to Scotland. We're opening Turnberry. You know, I own one of the great resorts of the world, and we just completed construction, and it's phenomenal. One of the great on the ocean, 800 acres on the ocean.
Wow. Eric, your son was telling us about it just last week.
Right, and he's going. So I'm right in the middle of it. I'll be over there just as it's the decision's coming in. I mean, I I don't think anybody should listen to me because I haven't really focused on it very much. But my inclination would be to get out because, just go it alone. It's a mess. There's such a mess over. When you look at what's happened with as an example, the migration, when you look at the things that are going on over there, my inclination would be go it alone and go back to where you came from because that's, just my feeling. Now, with that being said, I want people to do what they want to do. But, somebody asked me, what would you do? I said, I would probably vote to get out.
Yeah, I mean, Prime Minister Cameron said, look, the vote and the thoughts to get out, that's Donald Trump politics.
No, it's not politics because it doesn't help me one way or the other. I mean, getting out or staying in makes no difference to me. It doesn't have any impact on me. I'm just saying my inclination would be. And I also tell people, don't go with the recommendation because it's a recommendation that I make, but that's where I stand.
Ms. Trump, good luck at the fundraising this morning.